Welcome back, guys, to the CHG podcast. David has
What's up,
good lighting.
guys?
David
I
has some
do.
good lighting.
I literally have
Oh, you
a
were using
lighting
an
lamp.
actual light.
Yeah.
Oh,
I might
take that.
ask. I might
Take it
ask
with you.
my brother-in-law if I can have it.
Yeah, just take it with you. Look at that. Look at this good old lighting he has in his room. Man, he's all perfect. Looking all good. Probably got good acoustics in there, too. Man, look at this guy. He's got the professional setup.
Quiet.
So, welcome back to the CHG podcast, guys. My name is RJ. That's David. This is Casual Hardcore Gamers, where we talk about games, the industry, and all that fun stuff. And Dr. Pepper, in fun and intriguing ways. And
Yeah.
we will begin everyone as we do every other podcast where we're playing. David went first last time. I will go first this time. And I have a list. I needed to talk about this. So as some of you guys know, I'm playing Nier, the first Nier, on PS3, which is also Nier Replicant for the remaster that came out last year, in case you're wondering. And I'm about done with it. There's 4 endings in the original version. Apparently, they added a 5th to the remaster, remake, whatever it is.
But you're playing the original.
I'm only playing the OG one. There's only 4 endings, and I got all 4 endings now. The second one is what I want to talk about the most, though, because the third, the other two they're not as profound as the second. But anyway, so you play the whole game, and you fight these things called shades, which are your main baddies, and they're like these weird. I mean, they're kind of cool design, but like these weird, like they kind of look like maybe spirits, but like some kind of physical manifestation mix thing. It's kind of cool. Like they don't really have distinguished faces. They don't talk. Well, they can talk apparently, but like in some weird like jarble that no one can understand. And you just kill them. Your guy just kills them indiscriminately, right?
They look like a adult version of Heartless from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, and if it wasn't animeified, yeah. That's a good point. So he kills all of them, and you go through the first playthrough, and you're like, yeah, okay, they're baddies, cool, all that shit, blah blah blah. But at the end of the game, you find. Oh, by the way, spoilers are coming for this game. I'm just letting you know now. You lucky I caught myself because I was about to just continue. So if you haven't played Nier or want to play Nier
2, 1
or Replicant, you skip ahead. I don't know, 5 minutes or so. So I'm just telling you now because I usually don't care about spoilers. But anyway, so at the end of the first playthrough, you fight the main baddie who stole your daughter. Or your character's daughter. And it comes to find out that everyone in this world is not human. Even though they are human, they're not human. They are a shell, like an empty shell for like an actual human. And the real humans are the shades you've been killing. They're like a twisted form of what was once human. And the main baddie, I'm guessing because he looks like you're the shell for him, and he wants his shell back. That's how I'm interpreting it. I could be totally wrong, but this is a fucking Yoko Taro game.
That is the normal interpretation of that. Yes.
Yeah. How do you know that already? Anyways, so
videos I've watched.
Oh, I didn't know you even cared about the game, so I didn't know. So yeah, so there's that. So he wants his body back. You kill him. Blah blah blah. But then you play the second playthrough, right? And then you go through the same. Well, you don't go. You go through the second half of the game again. It starts off at the second half of the game. And when you go through all these same story beats, you get extra cutscenes. You get new cutscenes. And it actually gives the perspective of the main bad person you were going to fight in that area of the game. Mm-hmm. And you get backstory for them. And it first of all turns out they can talk just amongst themselves. Secondly, they have they can act like families. Like there's one in particular that really kind of opened my eyes to this whole plot. There's a area called the Junk Heap, which is basically like a big old factory from the old times, and it's run by 2 brothers. And when you first meet them, they're kids.
Oh, you got a soft spot for brothers.
Well, here's the thing. I don't anymore. Well, not for this one. This one, no. Not this one.
I don't anymore, brothers.
So, no, sorry. No, not anymore. It's just for this one, it didn't hit me. Because, especially when the second half of the game came in. Because They meet them as kids, and they're sad because they lost their mom and they lost their dad and all that shit. And I'm like, oh, that's sad and everything. And the younger brother doesn't know what's going on. Sad times. And then when you get to the second half of the game, on the first playthrough, it gives a cutscene where they're in the factory. They're kind of probably exploring, looking for shit. And then what happens is the older brother or the younger brother says something a little too loud, and like everything's unstable. So even like sound reverberations can like shake shit up. And I guess one of them said something too loud, and it like brought on a pile of big old rubble from the ceiling. It was going to smash the little brother. Older brother pushed him out of the way, and it landed on him, and he dies. Little brother doesn't exactly know what's going on, and so he sees his brother under the rubble, and then looks ahead and sees this robot in a shade, and he thinks they did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it's like not really, because you could see that one of them says some shit and like sound shook it. So even then I knew like, okay, this brother's just being a younger brother, doesn't know anything. So I don't really feel for him because I already knew that it wasn't the robot in the shade. But in the second playthrough, first of all, you find out the shade had a fucking mom, and his mom got persecuted because people don't like shades. And so she hid him in another room where they wouldn't get him. Or no, yeah, hid him in a room, and she went out so that she could get their attention, so that they wouldn't even think to go in that room
Mm-hmm.
with the son. And then that happens. Mom dies. This big old ass robot shows up and was going to kill the shade, but then the shade like nah, blah blah blah. Somehow the robot could understand the shade. I don't know how, but they understand each other. They talk, and the shade's all sad and everything. The robot's like, I will not let anyone kill you. The shade's like, yay. And so they have a buddies, and then they're fucking chilling. They're not looking for trouble. They're not looking for trouble, but they're in this facility, and then they happen to have saw the brother die. And then they think, oh, like that's really sad. It's really terrible, right? He could have got out of the way. But this younger brother is like now seeking revenge,
Mm-hmm.
blood money. He wants blood from them. And so it's like at the first time when you beat the robot, the brother shows up, and like he's older now, he's 5 years older, and he's like just like, oh, how could he took everything from me, blah blah blah. It's just after the robot's already dead,
Mm-hmm.
just
That you killed, your character killed.
that we kill after we beat him. But then like in the second playthrough, you're just like, he didn't kill your brother. You know, it's like he's blinded, and it's like no, it's like wrong. And then it's like, and then the main guy, he just kills Shades. He doesn't even think twice. He's not the most most thoughtful thinker. Let's just say that. I mean, he's a dad. He's a good dad. He loves his daughter. But when it comes to like thinking one step ahead, like even the book that he's with will talk to him. Even like the mages will say like, this is a little too inconvenient. This is happening a little too fast. This has been too easy. And he will be like, whatever, like, stop thinking so hard. I'm like, I think you should think a little harder, buddy, because these people are speaking some sound logic, and he just barrels through. He's a very tunnel vision centric guy. And it makes you actually not like him as much anymore,
Hmm.
especially when you get to that second playthrough, because once you now realize these backstories, and it's like, no one takes the time to think about what they're doing. You know, it's just they're just like, Shades must be like this. Like Shades is always the answer to every issue that could possibly be, and like that's not even the case, because like in one you're supposed to fight a wolf, a shade wolf, which is kind of cool. But you come to find out the wolf and his buddies, they're just mad because like their land got ruined, but they weren't even looking for fucking trouble. It was the people. They killed the dogs first, like a whole pack of them, a whole bunch of from their pack, and just killed them. Like set up traps and killed them. And they were like, why would you do this? What did we do to you? Like, they're talking amongst themselves in dog talk or whatever, but you get to see the subtitles, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, we're just roaming this desert. Why are you killing us? And so they're like, okay, you want to kill us? We're gonna get your queen. So it's just all this extra story bits that you find in the second playthrough
Mm.
makes you sympathize with all the bad guys. Bad guys. So it's like no one's really bad or good. Everyone is just out for them and their families or their whoever's. And then it's like when you see the second side, it's like, holy shit, it changes the
Well,
whole
I
perspective.
mean, as a history major, this reminds me a lot of just how we're taught history, right? So we early on, I would say times are changing, but I mean, here in the South, it's changing back just as fast.
Oh, what's that acronym? What's that acronym in schools nowadays?
Oh, the critical race theory?
Uh, there it is, CRT.
Yeah, CHG. It's a whole thing. But anyway, like we grew up learning mostly a European centric history. So
Yep.
we learned, hey, we the American, the British came to the Americas and we claimed the land, and we were friendly with the natives, but then
Always
they
friendly. Always friendly.
you
No, we
know
were
but then
always friendly.
they then they weren't friendly, and we got back, the Mayflower, certain settlements were, and we definitely we are shown at a young age, because they don't think that young kids can contemplate that their history has some shit to it, that like their ancestors were bad people or made bad decisions. But then all of a sudden you start learning history from the other perspectives, and you're like, oh shit, like let's not even like do Americans, like the Ottoman Empire and other Muslim empires, and Muslim empires are often seen as bad, like the bad side of the holy wars, or the bad side of some of the colonial stuff. But in essence, in reality, the Europeans were the ones that most of the time overstepped their bounds. In the Holy Wars, the Holy War was started for, I wouldn't say a legitimate cause, but for a real religious reason, to take back certain parts of the Holy Land. But when the Holy War started, most of the conflict was not in the Holy Lands. It was other European countries, and like that were close to more Europe centered, that the church, or parts of the church, were just like, oh, we don't want Muslims near us, so we're gonna go destroy this kingdom that's there legitimately, just because now we have some justification against Muslims. So, but anyway, that's what it saw to me, is that like history itself is not bad guys versus good guys in most cases outside of World War II.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's
that's
just
pretty much
obviously
the only one.
that's harder to they think that's harder to detail, right? Because then it's like, well, no, it's like everyone's gonna be like, well, I don't know who to choose and who not to. Like, it's not about choosing.
Yeah, it's not choosing.
It's
It's
not about
just
choosing.
fucking
I
history.
was I was gonna say, and a less detailed example was just it just shows the importance in general with knowing both sides to a situation,
Yeah,
right? I mean, you can take
very
a
true.
simple it's just some petty argument, and if you only ask one person how they feel about it, without asking the other side, you're never gonna have a full picture. And so I thought it was interesting. Now, do I think it's the most mind blowing? I was expecting to be mind blowing because people say, it's Yoko Taro and he's supposed to be some kind of mad genius, right? And so I was expecting something crazier than that. But I will say I have to remind myself this was 2010. So maybe for 2010, this was pretty nuts.
Wasn't there an ending though
Um,
that like was like a weird ending, where there was like a portal that came into like the modern world, like our world, and like some shit happened?
Not really. Um, no, no. I mean, I don't know. That's not how I would have. There's no portals. No. Um, yeah. I mean, so because the first two endings are about the dude who wants his shell back,
Uh-huh.
or and then so that happens, and then the last two endings are about the female companion that you have, Kane, which is interesting. Oh, by the way, they bring up multiple times about her lingerie, which I love so much. I love it because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it should be addressed. Because who fucking does that? It's just
But yeah,
like that little pet. It's like the little
in
attention to
the
detail.
game. So it's not that like this was a commentary on like how the industry treats females. It's
No,
just a commentary on
but
like, hey guys, we dressed this girl up in fucking lingerie. Isn't that funny?
well, no, well, because it's like it's fun. No, it's in the sense of it's in the sense of first of all, it's better than I would take that than never dressing it at all. because that happens too often. It's just they just happen to wear that and you move on. But the way they dress it is always in a way where it's like you can tell they don't necessarily approve of it. They don't necessarily
But that's hard to say when you chose to have it in your game. It's not like they were. It's not like this is an outside commentary. This is an inside commentary on a choice that they made.
I'm
like
not
so,
saying
if they had any qualms against it, they could have, removed it from the game.
I'm not trying to say it gets that deep. I'm just saying it's more than I expected. It's just more because that usually you don't get anything, and so this was at least I appreciated them at least being aware of what is around them, regardless of the fact that yes, these were deliberate choices. And by the way, it turns out, and I don't know if you knew this already, but it turns out Kane, the chick, she's actually what is referred to as intersex. She's an intersex individual, which I was like, what the fuck is that? And so it's not intergender or anything. From what I understand it, and I apologize if I'm butchering this a bit, but from what I understand it is an individual who was born with sexual characteristics of both genders. So they give examples where like if a woman has a vagina but a clitoris that is like way larger than normal, that almost represents a penis. That's like one example, and I forget what the examples for men were, but Kane is that she identifies as female, and I'd imagine in that setting there's no place where you can get breast augmentation, so I'm imagining her breasts are real. So I'm imagining her sexual organs are mainly female, but it's probably the clit thing, I imagine, or something that makes it seem like she that makes it seem because she gets bullied for it and stuff, and so you don't find this out till later, but like she got bullied for it as a kid, and people will call her all types of nasty shit, and they were like, "You're like, let's see like who you really are and everything." And there's actually a bit in the game where apparently it was censored for Western audiences, but I actually read a translated manuscript of the Japanese version, and they actually straight up say like like something along the lines like are you like who are you or like are you even a man or woman? And they actually started ripping off her clothes, which is not in the Western version. They just beat her up, but in the Japanese one they were about to rip off. They're like, let's see what you really are underneath all that and everything. So so yeah, that was interesting, but I was just like, whoa, damn, intersex individuals in 2010, Yoko Taro. Whoa.
Being the man
was not expecting that at all. And so yeah, it was very interesting to know that risk was taken. Right, because I mean I've been told in Japan they're still way behind, like as a whole country they're still very behind on all that type of stuff. I know obviously the young people are all for it and stuff, but like as a whole, and Japan is still very old. Japan is still a very old population. Still, there's still majority of them are hella old, and so yeah, I was very surprised. And so kudos to Yoko for that, because that was like, whoa, I didn't know what that was. Anyway, so yeah, the game's crazy. Game's interesting. I only have one more playthrough to do, which is like a speed run playthrough, and so I'm pretty much done with it. I'll move on. What are you playing, David? And also, I'm just gonna say this on air, David. We're fine because I'm seeing the vocals come through.
All right, cool. I just don't see it on mine. I am. Let's see. I started school, so I haven't really had time to play games.
But now it's Labor Day, so now you can play games.
No, I'm doing homework.
No, he can't play games.
Yeah. So I played a little bit more of Fire Emblem, but I haven't. I think I played like one more battle of Fire Emblem, and that's it.
Damn, that is depressing.
It is. Yeah.
Damn, a 1 minute update from David.
But what I can say, I'll throw it in a different direction. I am looking forward to a sport game for the first time in a really long time. So Madden 23. Is it
Madden 23?
No, Madden 23 is trash. It is the fucking same fucking game as 22. It is horseshit.
I didn't watch Angry Joe's review, but I saw the screenshot, and yet again, he is just livid. I'm like, at this point, I am convinced EA Madden only exists to make Angry Joe videos. Like, It only exists to give him
But
more videos.
yeah, no, not Madden 23. It's trash. So NBA 2K 23.
Oh yeah.
So they are adding a feature that, as someone who is a like franchise guy, is very excited for, because they're actually giving me something as a franchise player, which is the first time even in 2K that they've done anything in a really long time.
Okay.
So they are going to let you start in like different eras of basketball. So like you can go
Whoa.
back to like like all the way back to the 1960s and start
What?
with all of the right, like all the rosters, all the teams in the right places. Like instead of like the LA Lakers, it's going to be the Minneapolis Lakers.
What?
And like and you can sim through, and as you're simming through, the the same decisions about where the teams go will be made, but you can veto those decisions. So there's that. Each like when you're playing, like, let's say we go back to the 1960s. You go back to the 1960s, there won't be a 3-point line. All the rules will be the same rules that they played in the 1960s. The screen you play on, if you choose to, will be like black and white and shit. Or like if you go to the 90s, it'll look like, at the 90s broadcast. They have different broadcasters for each era. Like they're going all out, like legit on this. So like as a Seattle fan, my first fucking thing was, I'm
Get your
going to
Sonics
go
back.
and fucking correct the mistakes of the past. Like,
You get your Sonics back.
yes, exactly. Like this is happening. This is happening. All right.
Every Washington fan lost their
Yeah,
minds when
yeah,
they were
yeah, for sure. Oh man. So like, I mean, that's cool. Like that's the only thing I've heard about this game, is just that feature. But just that feature fucking sold it. Like I don't
Can
care.
you please, bro? Can you have a capture card?
I still do. Yeah.
Can you please do some footage of you doing that? Like, I want to see how happy you're gonna be.
I mean,
I'll even edit it.
but
I'll edit it.
that's
Like,
the problem. That's the problem with the shit that I have. Is that like my computer can't run the capture card and run Facecam at
oh,
the same
get
time.
out,
Although
borrow a
I have an
laptop.
iPad now. My school provided me with an iPad, so maybe we can make it work.
Oh, dude, do something.
Maybe
And
we can make it work.
iPad would be great because I have a MacBook, so that we can transfer the files easily. So,
Yeah, maybe we may work. Well, we'll see,
oh, dude,
guys. We'll see.
because you guys don't understand how happy he's gonna be. You don't. You need to see this happiness. The world
Yeah.
needs to see this level of
As
happiness.
far as
I
I'm
need to see it.
concerned, Oklahoma City could disappear off the face of the planet, and probably be better for it.
I was wondering about. I didn't see that feature. But I just
Just
saw
kidding,
that
OKC.
they just added a new edition to the game called Dreamer Edition, and it has I think J. Cole starring in it. Did you hear
I
anything
don't
about
give a
that?
shit about it. It's probably what it probably is something to do along the lines of there's a game mode in Madden where it's like kind of like street ball, and then they get like celebrities as players and shit. It's stupid, but
Hmm.
that might be something like it. Who
I was just
knows?
wondering. Apparently, it's another GameStop exclusive edition. I think. But I just thought it was just interesting.
But yeah, no. So they have that. I mean, other than that, everything's probably gonna be the same. But just that
But
is
obviously, I mean, at this point for 2K, I
exciting.
mean, they got the formula down, right, for the game.
Yeah,
So down. So at this point, it comes to things like that. Like, how can we
yeah,
just make new fun game modes or tweaks or additions to the game, because we already have the formula down.
yeah.
There's no point in talking about the passing and or the guarding. It's like it's fine. People are fine with it.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
give
I
me new
think,
stuff to
and
do.
I think that's the thing with all sports games, right? So like, there is a point now. Madden's not there because Madden's gameplay is shit too, because they fucking have to use the fucking frostbite system because they're idiots.
Another check on the bingo card.
So
Frostbite
like,
on
do you know their
Madden.
excuse for using the frostbite system?
I think you told me, and I don't remember
They
what
fucking
was it.
use it because of their career mode. I fucking forgot what it was. The No, that's NBA 2K. But anyway, Road to no, that's something else. But anyway, they're like career mode, right? Because they have these cutscenes that are acted out. That's why they say they have to use the Frostbite engine because of that. A whole fucking gameplay engine because they have to have the voice capture, motion capture thing for that fucking game mode that no one fucking plays.
No, it's because obviously they don't want to take the time to make a new engine
Yeah, of course it
because
fucking is. Well, that's the
they don't
thing.
want to spend the money for it.
Yeah, because like EA uses the Frostbite engine on everything. None of their games run on anything
Yeah,
but the Frostbite engine.
when Dice guys, I'm sure you also don't know when Dice first made the Frostbite engine, they made it initially for Battlefield, and it works for Battlefield. It works enough. I mean, 24/2 has other issues, but like it generally works well enough. And then Madden, and then EA got all happy, and they're like, "Oh, we like how this looks.
Yeah,
Let's
why pay
slap
for
this.
other engines when we can
Why
just
have all these other custom engines for all these other games when we could just use this one and slap it on everything? Madden, slap it on there. Mirror's Edge, slap it on there. It's just a lot of their games that they have for consoles at least, they use the Frostbite engine that Dice made, and they made that engine
for a first person shooter?
almost 10 years
Oh,
ago now,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Um, I mean,
And just
Mirror's.
and just and just like Bethesda and the Creator Engine, it's been updated,
I
but
think they're on.
it's
Are they? Have
still
they gone
not
past two?
meant.
Have they gone past two? I remember hearing about
I,
Frostbite 2 years ago. I don't remember hearing about Frostbite 3 or 4.
it's still not meant for a fucking
Football game.
sports game
Yeah,
though.
yeah. The
Anyway,
fix is
so
all
no,
different.
I'm excited for NBA 2K. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get it because I'm fucking poor,
Is it not coming
and
to Game Pass? I'm surprised you
no,
didn't
not
mention.
right
You didn't
away.
mention that. Oh,
No,
oh.
it's not.
Don't mark that on your guys' bingo card for David. Don't
Nope.
do it. Um, well, anyways, I'm excited for you. I'm happy to see it. I hope you can get some footage of it. That'd be great to see. You just so happy to have the Sonics back. Because for those who don't, basketball fans, Washington lost Supersonics years ago, and that's like if you talk to any sports fan, that's like the only thing they bring up. They're just like, "We want the Sonics back. We want our Sonics back." That's it. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna move on to our main story. We're gonna skip our little fun question of the day. We're gonna talk about Last of Us again. We're gonna revisit it because it came out September 2nd, Friday, and today's the 3rd. So we're doing this the day after, and I finally found out. I don't know why I took it to the game released, but I finally found out a very clean and easy to read list of what is new with this version. And so I'm going to list it out real quick for David and for all you guys as well and break it down for everybody. So the first thing that's listed on here, by the way, this is from GameSpot, is that there's two new modes. There's two new modes, not difficulty modes, just gameplay modes. The first one is permadeath, which that was in Last of Us 2. I think that was added as DLC, free DLC, but either way, that's from Last of Us 2. And then there's a speed run mode, which that's pulled from Uncharted when they remastered Uncharted.
Now, what does a speed run mode do? Does it just cut out the cutscenes, or does it track you? What does it do?
Let's see here. They don't detail that in here, but I'd imagine maybe. But anywho, those two new modes. I don't know if those are available when you beat the game or if they're available from the start. It doesn't say. Oh, and with the permadeath mode, there's actually flexibility to how you do the permadeath mode. So you could have it to where like if you die, does it take you back to the beginning of like a chapter or a checkpoint or something like that. Um, so you can either make permadeath as crazy or as forgiving as you want it to be. And then the next this is what I did know about beforehand was the accessibility options. They started that with Last of Us 2, and it's actually been a big push forward for Sony's first party games is to be more accommodating to all types of disabilities or impairments for gamers. That's fine. There's no qualms. No one should bitch about that. But they go like above and beyond. Well, I remember Ratchet and Clank added it in it. I think a little bit after the release, and I was like, holy fuck! There's so like. Holy like they take into account possibly anything. I think Xbox did this with Gears, I think, and Halo. So it's a good initiative that we're pushing through. So there's all types of shit, alternate controls, visual aids, motion sickness, combat accessibility, screen reader, audio cues, navigation, anything. So it's a very robust suite of accessibility options so you can play the game exactly how you want to play it. and that wasn't in the original or the PS4 remaster. The next thing is difficulty customization. So it's not just as simple as just easy, medium, hard, survivor, grounded.
Mm,
They actually reworded it. They call it very light, moderate, hard, survivor, and grounded.
mm.
So there's like 7, and grounded I think is available only after you beat the game once. And then but here's where it comes into more detail. You can have player resiliency, enemy resiliency, ally aggression, stealth efficacy, and resource availability.
Hmm.
Like which are all separate toggles from the general option, or how it would generally be if you just chose the certain difficulty and kept everything standard.
Okay,
So
I like that.
I guess you can make it, you can play grounded, which already has like no resources, and then make resource availability even less, where you're basically playing with some fists, and that's it. And bricks, don't forget the bricks. um so that was added in, and then now there's this is what is a given display modes. If you want to play performance, or if you look for that fidelity, that all makes sense. That's probably par for the course. And then they actually changed the trophies. So in the original release, in the PS4 remaster, a big thing, 'cause, I mean, the game never really had a whole lot of trophies anyways, but a big part of it was beating the game on all the different difficulties, and in beating them on New Game Plus. But for this remaster, they actually removed all the difficulty things, which is another push that Sony's particularly doing, which people are still kind of on the fence about
Mm.
not having any kind of difficulty trophies, or just kind of making the trophies is just a bit too easy to get. Like, they get the platinum a little too easily. Ratchet and Clank was like the first case I remember hearing about this discussion, because they took out a lot of the normal trophies that you would expect in a Ratchet and Clank game, like beating a New Game Plus, upgrading all the weapons, all that
So I
stuff.
I've had a question for you. So I'm not too tuned with trophies. I'm more of achievement scores.
Yeah,
So I know with achievement scores, the publisher will assign a certain number of points
yeah.
for each thing, like for each achievement, right? Is it like that, or I think you guys just have
So
bronze, silver, and gold, right?
it is and it isn't. So when I first started getting trophies, yeah, I mean, you normally just see bronze, silver, gold, platinum, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. And then in the PS4 era, they added this like trophy, or maybe a PS3. They added this thing where you have a trophy level that just increases as you get more trophies.
Mm.
And I think the max is 999. Um, by the way, I'm at like 542. But like, yeah, 999 is like the max, and I actually have a dude on my friends list that hit that max. It's bonkers, man. But anyways, but when you go to a website called PSN Profiles, which is another trophy dedicated site, and you look for trophies for certain games, you actually see that a full trophy list actually has a certain amount of points dedicated to it. Because I think those points fell into that trophy level,
Mm.
and it feeds into that.
Because
So, but you don't see none of that if you're just looking on your profile on your system and you're looking at your trophies. You don't see like the points or any of that. You just see your trophy level and how many trophies you have, and how it's broken up between bronze, silver, and gold.
So here would be my kind of like thought process on this, because like I feel like they're getting rid of difficulty trophies and stuff like that because some people either disability wise can't play it on those harder levels, or let's be honest, some people just were just not good at the game. I'm less concerned about those people than people who just like physically wouldn't be able to play it on those high levels, right? But that still want to participate in trophy hunting or gamer score, achievement. So like my thing, at least on the gamer score, what you could do is you could have a achievement that is, let's say, get 500 kills, you know, and if you get 500 kills, you get that achievement, and you can get it on any level. But let's say for getting on easy, it's a 10 gamer score. But if you get 500 kills on normal, it's 15 gamer score. If it's on hard, it's 20 gamer score. So you still get the achievement, and it still pops as you getting the achievement. But as you achieve it on a higher level, it's not a different achievement. It's just more points for that achievement. You get what I'm saying? Like I feel
I
like
do.
that would be more inclusive but still give like people that want to do it on hard a a little bit more bragging rights.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't really care. I don't really care about this, like, about all that shit. It's just, I just find it interesting because
Yeah.
everybody knows your boy likes that easy mode. So I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah, you don't complain
Like,
at all if an achievement is not tied to difficulty.
bro, I will play that easy. I will play baby mode any day of the week, which is funny because you juxtapose the fact that I'd be in Cuphead on expert mode. So it's because I'm a pro gamer. Anyway, so that was the next thing. They changed the trophies. Next thing is there's better collectible tracking, which that's a fucking godsend. Because for those who know Last of Us, even if you didn't necessarily go for the trophies for it, you would know that you didn't really know how many of any collectible you had, and there are so many collectibles between the
Yeah.
manuals, the magazine or the comics, the all the little documents, the pendants, all that. Between all of that stuff, they don't track it
Yeah,
at
you
all.
just found it, and they were
Yeah,
just like, "Hey, here's another one."
they add it to a list, but like you still don't know how many are in the game, how many you still need, how many you have, unless you count them manually. So
Yeah.
that's really nice. There's a photo mode, which that's part of the course, and then there's some more bonus features. And so let's see here. So when you beat the game, you get alternate visual filters, character skins, but those were character skins were in the first game, or sorry, the original games. And then you get these things. I guess they're called toys or something. But so there's mirror world. You can mirror the game every time you die. Slow motion, bullet speed mode, which I don't know what that means. Um, infinite ammo,
It's
and
the Matrix. You could go
I'm
like
hoping, I'm
and then
hoping
like
so. I'm hoping that's the case. That'd be awesome. Um, and there's a bunch of infinite modes. So infinite ammo, infinite crafting, infinite melee durability, infinite listen mode range. Which what?
the fucking just the whole map. Just
Yeah, like you just see everybody. It's Joel some
I
kind of
see everything.
Joel becomes a mutant, I guess, from X-Men. You can just hear everything in that room. Like hold on. Like, what do you see? I don't see. I hear.
I see. I hear a mouse pissing from
Yeah,
4 miles away.
I think I hear a couple bunnies fucking over there in the corner. So anyway, so there's that, and then there's there's one shot mode, which I don't know if that's one shot for you or one shot for them or
No,
both.
everybody else
But
is pa pa pa. You John Wick this shit.
so there might be that, and then there's different audio modes. You have 8-bit audio, 4-bit audio, helium audio, and xenon audio. Which what is xenon audio?
I know, but I want to hear the like all of the really like intense emotional dialogue in helium mode. Like when David, not David, when what's the guy that finds his lover dead?
His lover dead?
Yeah,
Oh, Bill.
Bill. Yeah, when Bill finds his lover dead, like that scene in a helium mode.
You know what? That'd probably be the mode if I were to, because I don't have the game, I'm not going to get it anytime soon. But if I do, if I stream it or record it with you, David, I think that's the mode we should do it on. Is helium mode?
Yes, agreed.
Yes,
Agreed.
helium. I mean,
Helium
I don't
mode.
know how you
Or
don't. I mean,
Xenon mode, whatever the fuck
yeah,
Xenon
what
is.
the hell is xenon mode? Like,
Maybe it's all
I
like really deep, just like, hello, Joel, I'm here.
so now I don't know if all of these are only accessible after you beat the game, because when they say beat the game, you get visual filters and character skins. Well, it says and more. Maybe all this was the and more. I hope not, because I want helium mode from the get go. But and then
I
obviously
mean, I'm
the
sure you would
visual.
be able to run through it on normal mode pretty fast.
It's still a fairly long game, especially if I'm going for all the collectibles, because those are still trophies to get all the shit. Those are still trophies. So it was gonna take a little while, but
Those,
and then
well, that's the
obviously
thing. I bet if you use some of these modes, the trophies are disabled. So helium mode might disable trophies.
that's yet to be determined yet. We'll have to see. But
So
anywho,
definitely, if definitely on if you do like ammo and shit, I
you would expect
guarantee you.
you would expect that, but again, we don't know yet. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: if those actually, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. But and obviously the visual overhaul that that's the one thing everyone knows about. So they listed that last. The very obvious remake and visuals, and so
Mhm.
now with all that looked at, I wanted to talk to Dave about, like, kind of addressing the fact now. Is it worth it? And I think what you have to think about, which I don't think we talked about before, is like taking a step back and thinking about who is this game actually for, right? Who is this remake really for? Because before we didn't really address that, and I think that is actually the core of the topic. Because flat out, if you've already played either the PS3 or PS4 version, and you have a PS5, unless you are craving this game, you don't need it right now. You're not missing out. You're not There's nothing special, really. There's nothing like special about this remake, because they kept the game the exact same. It just has all these little extra features and it looks better. That's it, essentially. We were hoping that, like, maybe, and some other parts, maybe they probably open the world up a little bit more. You can do some crazy more exploring or something, or something like make it like not like an open world game, but just like have these little bigger areas to do some more shit in that you couldn't before. But that's not the case. It is literally the same game, as we know and love it. And for that, it's like, not for $70. It's not really worth it for someone who's already played the game, unless, again, it's like your favorite fucking game and you just have a hard on for Last of Us. I don't think you're missing out on anything. But if you haven't played it yet, I think this is a good purchase. That's how I feel. Because if you only heard about it and knew it was great, never played it before, this is the best version of the game that you can get. And if you're fine spending $70 on it, because to you, yeah, it is technically a third version of a game coming out. But for someone who's never played it before, this is their first. This is the one version. This is it. I mean, yeah, they might know about the other two versions, but like they didn't play them, so they don't. It doesn't matter. So this is the one purchase. Is the one version that they were going to be enjoying and playing. So for $70, that's the standard price for games, or for some games. That's just another game to them. So it's not really a big of a like, they're not gonna be as jaded as someone like myself might be, or a lot of other people have been about this game. That's how I feel. What does David feel about it?
So I mean, I'm somewhat in the same boat as you. Like, it's definitely more worth it for people who have never played. Like, it's the most worth it for people who have never played Last of Us, Part 1 before ever. I think then the next people, it's for the people who hold Last of Us as one of the greatest games they've ever played or of all time.
Crap.
Because you want to see the things you love, one, kept alive, and two, in a new light, right? So like it's similar. I will say it's similar to, you don't hear the same stuff about a movie that was in standard definition that is now being re-released in 4K HD, right? You don't hear that this same outrage of like, oh, how could they charge $25 for this 4D 4K HD thing anymore. You don't hear that, because like, I think just people want to see the stuff they love in a better, more modern take, visually wise on it. I think that the problem is that a movie is $30 and a game is $60-$70. To me, I think it's that, like, if you didn't want it, then if you don't want to pay the money for it, the $70, then yeah, you can readily enjoy it in a little less quality edition, because you already own it or whatever. So I would say, yeah, I would say it's the best use out of it is for new people. The second is for people who really wanted to see it in high definition. And yeah, some of them are complaining, and some of them are going to complain that it's still $70 with not a lot new. But I would say there's a good amount. Like, what I understand that you were saying, like, oh, like, what about wide open stuff? That's we were never going to get that.
Hey,
and
don't take that from me.
We're
okay?
Never going to get it.
Hey, you were optimistic for it too. Okay, I can rewind the tape. Okay.
But I don't think that was very likely, right? But people are still going to buy it that have already played it, just want to see it seen better. Um, and yeah, there'll be people who maybe don't put it on the level that you and me do, who will be like, "Oh, I already played it. I don't need to play it again, especially not for $70." But I'll play it. I'll buy it again when I get my PlayStation 5 eventually in 10 years. I'll pick it up, and of course it'll be a lot cheaper then. But I'm willing to make that sacrifice. So it'll be really interesting to see sales, to see if it comes anywhere close to the 1.7, 1.8 million copies that have sold thus far, and see kind of where it lines up. But I think they brought enough that it puts it on the same level as a Star Wars that went from standard definition to 4K, because in those things they up the quality, the visual fidelity of it, and then they give you some behind the scenes action, some commentary tracks, stuff like that. That's the same thing we're getting here. We're getting better visual fidelity, and then we're getting all of these extra kind of little things that we can see this work of art and see it through a different lens, whether that be helium voices or making the AI more aggressive and stuff like that. So you're going to get something new out of it, but also you're going to have the thing that you love just with a better visual fidelity.
I think the point you made when you said about the movies and how we don't hear anything from people, movie buffs, is because of that price difference, right? I mean, movies don't come out for $70; they come out for if it's a 4K Ultra HD with all the crazy bips and bobs or whatever, yeah, it's like $30 or whatever. But obviously,
I've seen
movies
some get
twice
to
that.
like 60, 80, depending.
Well, there's usually some good shit then that they throw in with it, but for this, obviously a little different. And I think at the heart of it, the issue is the price, in my opinion, because you look at, I know like one of my first comparisons of when people were complaining was I was like, well, why are you? I mean, like Demon Souls did it too. No one gave a rat's ass, but obviously there's differences between the two because Demon Souls came out in 2009 on the PS3 and it was never a re-release for it. And so even though it is the same game, it is essentially the same game. I mean, they added like maybe a couple bits and bobs here and there, but like it is essentially the same game, just looks much better. Everything's been improved, but like that's a drastic improvement from the 2009 version to this 2020 version. That's different than this with Last of Us because it had a 2013 release on the PS3, which still looks good, really, really good today. And then obviously the 24 remaster on the PS4, which looks just even better. And so it's like you're remaking something that's not as drastic of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Like I've seen the screenshots. It's good. Don't get me wrong. There is a difference, but it's nowhere near the level of when we saw the Demon Souls remake. And not only that, but you look at the trend of remake / remasters that we've seen in the last 10, 15 years, right? And they almost always have had a reduced price. I think I can't even think of the last one that didn't, because the point of these is
Oh,
to
Demon
bring.
Souls.
Oh yeah, sorry, Demon Souls was the first one. Sorry, but the point of these is supposed to bring beloved or old or classic cult class whatever, good titles, to give them a new lease on life, giving them either second chance, third chance in Last of Us case, and just extend their life, and then continue the interest of that title. And for people, especially if it's old, nostalgic, bring it back to the forefront and all that shit, right? That's what it's supposed to do at the end of the day for a title like this. But because of that, they've always been reduced games. You look at other remakes. You look at Spire remake, Crash remake, the upcoming Star Wars remake. I don't think that's obviously going to. They haven't released a price for that. But you look at other games that have had straight up remakes, not just remasters, and they've always been at a reduced price. And I think if this game had came out for $50, maybe even 45, I think the fanfare for this would be a lot stronger than it has been. Because yeah, $70 is I mean, yes, you feel that the extra features are worth it. I don't think I could say that, especially someone if you have bought it before. Again, it does leave it then back to everyone who hasn't or who holds it at the queen of the crap of single player narrative games. But if
I
everyone
think,
else, I don't think so.
yeah, I think if I have, yeah, I don't have money for any games, but like I think if you have, if you have enough money for one game, a year, I'm not buying this game. I'm okay with the versions
Neither
I
am I.
have.
And I have money to buy games, and I'm not buying. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wait till like it goes
Another
down to
another
$40
question I
or
have
something.
that wasn't addressed in your listing is if the gunplay was improved.
Oh, I not in that article, but I think I read in another one a week ago or something that I think there might have been some slight improvements to that. I don't know to what extent, but yeah, I know Jotha's gunplay was never its like strongest suit.
No,
It was serviceable, but it was not its strongest suit.
two was a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, it was never because obviously that's not what they were focusing on. You could
Yeah,
tell, but it was serviceable, not amazing. The bow was good though, um, but yeah, but I don't quote me, but I think I read something on. You might have to do some your own research on that or watch a video from Game Ranks, as I know you will. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but um,
yeah,
I would hope so. I would hope they would take the mechanics from two and slap it on here because they took a lot of other things from two and slapped it on here. So again, but yeah, it's just, and I don't want to be the guys, like, oh, it's a worthless cash grab from Sony and all that shit. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think the pricing is correct. I'll agree with you on that. But I mean, I have no problem. I have no problem with remasters and remakes because it does give people who never played them a chance
yeah.
to play it.
And I
And is
mean,
this
I have a hard time calling this a cash grab when you have companies like EA who's been basically just remastering the same game year over year and with slight improvements to graphic fidelity and charging full price for it
and
every time.
somehow worse
So,
controls than the game before it?
oh yeah, and it keeps getting worse. But
Yeah, somehow
anyway,
your control quality goes down with each new Madden game, which is like,
exactly.
how does that even work? But even take that, their own remasters have like been hugely hit or miss. So, it's
Yeah,
like at least this game fucking works. At least it does what it needs to do. Um, and yeah. So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here because my mom is calling me. She wants her
my
food.
wife just came down and was like,
Yeah, same
"You have
time.
10 minutes."
Yeah, she wants her food, and I don't have food for her. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Let us know what
Let
you
us
think.
know what. Yeah, especially if you've bought it and played it.
Yeah, actually, we want to hear from you guys first because I know some people are gonna be like just gonna say what they said before and be like, "Oh, this is stupid. They shouldn't have done it. $7 is too much."
Yeah,
We get it. We hear you, but I want to hear from those who played it or who bought it. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear
yeah,
most from. Tell us if it's worth
yeah,
it,
yeah.
especially if you played it before. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we want to hear.
Those who played any PS3 or PS4 version and they're playing this one, that's who we want to hear from.
Well, we
Everyone
want to hear
else,
from everybody, but especially
we
those
do.
guys.
Yeah, especially you guys though. You guys are the top of
For
the
sure.
list. But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us on this podcast. We will be back, I don't know, sometime in the future. David is waving as he does. Don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. We try to do this once a week or once every other week. We normally put up other gaming videos a couple times a week. And hit the bell if you want to see it first. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.